Welcome to part 2. So, TD, what is your number 6?
Number 6, and this is where they started to get hard for me. This is where, as I've been listening into y'all's reasoning and just thinking them back on my own, I've shuffled around this top, but I have Kill 'Em All here. Myself, I was never into the heaviest of heavy stuff. So when I would go to, heavier concerts with my friends, I was always the one that kind of tuned out a little bit more. I was never the truest metalhead, I guess. So this one's a little too much for me, I guess. I don't know sometimes. But it is. We mentioned earlier when you guys were talking about it. It definitely did explode on the scene. It changed music. It changed particularly the hard rock. It invented metal. If some people say, "Seek and Destroy" is an all timer. That's a fucking great song. And I mean, what is it? But it's So if I'm going back and like picking out stuff I want to re-listen to, this is probably where it falls for me. This is basically what I do with these rankings. Is how much do I want to go back and listen to this particular album? And Kill 'Em All is about there. And it always kind of trips me out to hear young James, his voice too. It's weird. But Hit the Lights is also a great beginning song. And if I remember right, I think I am, but I'm pretty sure one of the Alabama baseball players had it as his walk-up music when I was in school there way back in the day. And I always remember every time I would go to a game and hear that, like, fuck yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Every single one of these songs should be a baseball intro. If they're not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, Battery. It's already there.
Well, that different album. But
Yep. Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
But Seek and Destroy, Whiplash, Jump in the Fire. Great stuff. Four Horsemen.
I'm going to follow right behind. This album is fast as hell. Love the solo and Hit the Lights. That is an impressive first track from a first album for a band. Four Horsemen was really good. You guys were saying something pretty on the inside, felt like first album throwaway filler. Well, I present to you Anesthesia.
Oh!
At least whole songs were short. This was 4 minutes and 14 seconds of blah.
Hold on. Jason. This dagger belongs to you, sir.
If they cut off that boring crap in the beginning and just skipped to like the last 2 minutes of it, it would have been good. Whiplash, geez, the strumming was so freaking fast. That was a good one. And I really liked the closing track, Metal Militia. Overall, though, production drops it for me. This sounds like an 80s album, and they got better, but it's still a really strong debut.
Right on.
Agreed. Much you, Tim.
Where are we at? Number 6?
Yes.
Yep.
That's fair.
Go with Hardwired. I like this album a lot, actually. That's been one of my biggest questions with 72 Seasons since its release. Is it better than Hardwired? Because they're both about the same length. And then if you put the songs like next to each other, they have the same punctuation in the same places. The formula that they started in the 80s and tried to recapture on Death Magnetic, they disappeared from here a little bit. There's little remnants of it. But clearly they've started a new sequencing formula. Halo on Fire is awesome. Now That We're Dead is awesome. I love Here Comes Revenge. Atlas Rise is great. Moth into Flame is great. Like, really, the weak points on this album are probably like Am I Savage? Almost sounds like a Megadeth song to me, which is just weird.
It's still a positive, in my opinion.
But it's a low point on this album, I think. As is Man Unkind, maybe, and Murder One's a cool tribute to Lemmy, but musically it's kind of not there. But everything else on this album is actually pretty ripping, and all the issues I have with 72 Seasons, where like some of the songs drag on too long, I really don't get that sense with this one. And that's why it's a little better.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're bookending Kill 'Em All, which tells you I do like these albums. But obviously they've just, they've got some stuff and they got to fall in somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you haven't heard Lords of Summer, I highly recommend that one. The song that was left off the album, but is on the album if you get the bonus disc. And their Dio tribute, Ronnie Rising medley, is gold. Great sessions. Really happy with this album when it came out. Did get to see the tour from the Snake Pit, which was life-changing. Where are we at? Number 6?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Will, what's your number 6?
And Justice for All. It's a great record. I just hate the production that damn much. Like it could be a much better record. The fact that I respect them for what they did. Like I really do think it's a if the songs were worse, it would be a more fitting tribute. But since the songs are really good, it's kind of like a disservice to Cliff to not have any bass on this record. Like it's a good record. One is the first breakdown I ever heard in my entire life. It has carried with me forever. That's why it's as high as it is, merely because of one. The rest of the record's good. It's great. And I sound like I'm talking shit about this record. I just feel like I have to defend number 6 because it probably should be higher in most other people's discographies, honestly. And that's why I respect.
Load would be higher in anybody else's discography.
Really?
Yeah, if it's not a metal band you're expecting that from, again, the production's great.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff there is pretty good. So, yeah.
And sure, a lot of nostalgia and just the fact that this was the first Metallica record I heard does matter a lot. But it's just not as good as any other of the records I have above it, in my opinion, which is kind of fucked up looking at y'all's, but that is what it is. But yeah, that's it, man. That's my number 6. It's still one of the better. It's just not if it had a fucking bass guitar on it that you could recognize, it would be way higher for sure.
Yeah, we'll do Rancid one day.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. I really can't.
All right, who is next? I'm bad about this. Joe always kept up with this crap.
Well, I think actually, all right, I was keeping up with it, and technically Tim was supposed to go first last time.
Oh, okay. Well, I could go next.
Yeah,
if you guys are ready to talk about Dark Side of the Moon.
No. Oh, the wait, is that? I can't see. It's so black. I can't tell what's happening.
There's none more black.
Hey, we should cover No More Black one day.
Hey,
good band.
Timmy, sir. Go ahead.
Yes.
I want to know why you're defending it.
I love Wherever I May Roam. That's a great song. The guitar solo in The Unforgiven is iconic. This album is iconic. Listening back to it though, Through the Never's good. A Wolf and Man's good.
Yeah.
Don't Tread on Me is kind of not good.
Yes.
Struggle Within is kind of not good. I do like The God That Failed a lot. My Friend of Misery is good, but and it's better on this version than on the new album. But it does have Nothing Else Matters. It does have, as iconic as Inner Sandman is, I never have to hear it again. Ever.
For real. Agreed.
It is. It's the Dark Side of the Moon of the 90s. It still sells like 5,000 copies a week, and we're 30 years after it's been out. Like, who doesn't have this album? If you don't have this album, go get this album.
I don't have it. Where should I get it from?
Metallica.com, I guess.
If there's not like 20 copies within a 4-block radius of you already for sale, like
We're talking
Yeah,
about the
it's
cassette
not
tape, not the vinyl, right? Because the cassette tape is freely available to all.
Which they put that out with the remastered version not too long ago too. So there's all
nice.
kinds.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. The market is oversaturated with the Black Album.
I mean, that's how I owned it first, was a cassette.
Actually, I looked up Metallica on vinyl for Amazon. It was like $46 for Injustice for All for like some import. I was like, eh.
Well, yeah, that's an import.
Nope.
We're not going to talk about Napster. It doesn't look like, which is a good thing. But one thing that Metallica has done to thank their fans ever since then is you can get all this stuff from them. They're an independent band, and so if you like an independent band, you buy the music from the band.
Yeah,
and they've got copies of stuff. So, and then all the prices are reasonable.
Oh, okay.
It's the other boxes that it's the box stores and Amazon that does all the price gouging. But
Black Album, man, for real.
An interesting fact I kind of found while doing a little bit of research for this video is, we've talked on a number of videos about that magical time at late 91 where basically every album that shaped everybody our age's lives came out. And you know what was number one on the charts the entire time?
No, what?
Use Your Illusions.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
No, it was the Black Album. It was number one for like 5 weeks, I think I read.
I'll be honest, man. I would believe that Use Your Illusion 2 would be number one.
Yeah, they played the
shit. It was. I think that's what followed this. I think that's what finally kicked this off the number one spot.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
All right, Will, what's your number 5?
The Black Album! It's the beginning of the bad times, but it's still really, really good. I hate the fact that Sad But True has been bastardized by both Kid Rock and The Undertaker, but it is still the heaviest riff I have ever heard in my life. It is so good. Live, it just kicks you in the face. It's so stiff and brutal and amazing, and I love that fucking song. Nothing Else Matters is like the most beautiful song. Well, minus one, but Bob Rock era. No, of the Bob Rock era, it is the most beautiful song, I will say. It is just beautiful. Every single from this album, like Wherever I May Roam, it's so sick. I love it. It's so good. It's a great record. It's the beginning of a bad period for Metallica, but it is still iconic. It is still amazing. It references Spinal Tap, and that is alone enough for me to put it in the top 6 at least, or top 5 even. Top 5. It's that good. It's not a bad record. I love it, dude. And also, The Struggle Within is an excellent closing, shredding jam of awesomeness. Like, Metallica should get reputation for having closers too, because most of the closers on the records are better than the rest of the songs on the record.
Yep.
No question.
100%.
That's it, man. It's a great record. There's just better records. That's all I got.
All right. TD, you going to follow up with these people?
No, this is where I have Injustice for All. I think one of y'all mentioned it before too, but one alone makes this album. I mean, that's such a badass fucking song. Maybe the first Metallica video, like once I got into them that I saw, and that just like really stays with you forever. But I don't have much to add that y'all haven't already said, with the production, and it was also a time, a time of change for the band. This is the first with Jason Newsted, right? So,
correct.
They're,
and that might be why you don't hear any bass guitar, because they were pissed that they had to get a new bass player.
Exactly. They just tragically lost, one of their brothers, not just, a member of the band, but someone that, as you've seen them talk about it in years past, that really hurt. And you can commend them for surviving and still putting out a record that is this good. But yeah, as far as my personal taste, not a lot. I don't know. It's weird. It's more so than the albums behind it, obviously. And like I said, one alone is I can keep going back to this album for. But it's a great album. It's and a good for all the things I just mentioned. The death of Cliff Burton, breaking in this new guy, Jason Newsted. Like who the fuck is he? Like it's still a great album. Like despite all of that, they came through.
All right.
100%. Yeah. What you got, Jason?
This is where I'm putting 72 Seasons.
Oh, that's great. Wow. You know what? I'm not hurt at that placement. It's a good placement. It's fine.
I love the name and the meaning behind this album title. That's really damn good. The title track was great. This album had a pulse to me, something that maybe Hardwired, I was just getting Metallica fatigue, but this album, this one grabbed me more. Shadows Fall was good. James' vocals sound really good. I loved every track up until You Must Burn. That Lux Eterna. That's my favorite on this one. Shout out to Big Sam because it came on the radio when we were playing Fortnite. He had this epic chase out of the city. I was like,
nice.
Who is this? He's like, I think this is the new Metallica. I was like, there's no way this is Metallica. It was.
That's amazing.
Chasing Light is great. Too Far Gone. I really like that one. This is the only one where the closing track wasn't as good as like up to par with like.
No,
Metallica.
I'll agree. I'll agree 100%.
Yeah, I think it's the weakest song on the album.
Yeah, same.
But this was my favorite post Black album. Yeah, post Black album Metallica. So.
Okay.
It's good stuff.
And now I guess it is Will, right?
Is it my turn to go next?
Your turn.
We are at what, 4? I am not even number 4.
Yes.
I put Death Magnetic here. I think it was just and honestly, for me personally, I hadn't listened to any of the records post Saint Anger because I hated Saint Anger that much. So when I heard this, and I listened to everything chronologically, so I started to Kill 'Em All, work my way down. And when I heard this, I was losing my shit. It's really a good, excellent, aggressive thrash record. Like it's just kills. I'm not the biggest fan of Unforgiven 3. I was initially overwhelmed by the fact that they put strings and shit to it, and I was like, this is good. But I still think 2 is better. To give Reload some extra props, I suppose.
Yeah, I did too.
But my God, I think one of my favorite songs by this band is on this record, and we'll get to that in the top 5 songs. But it's not a bad record at all. It is a straight up maelstrom of just like, hey, guess what? We still got balls. Let's shred that shit. And that's what they do this whole record. And it's amazing. There's nothing bad on it that I can actually point to and say that was terrible. It's got energy and a vibe, and it's there and it shreds. And I'm also more of a modern metal kind of guy. So for me, the production on it just puts it above the other good shredder records.
Was this the Rick Rubin one?
This is the Rick Rubin one.
Yeah. There's those guitars are just good. I can't complain about any of the recording on this record. It's solid. I don't know if it's one of the best records, but I was very impressed at the vitality at what year 20 at this point. I don't know what year this came out. What
2008 would have been 25 years in.
25 years, yeah, 25 years in. It's vital. It's good. If I were to say listen to Metallica, this would be on the list of records I would recommend. It's heavy, it shreds. It's got it's not maybe the most memorable record, but the vibe and the sonics of it put it above some of the other records for me.
It's definitely a comeback album because I remember when it came out.
Oh yeah,
I was already like deep into like punk, pop punk, like not a metal guy at all. But I remember when this came out, and just like the hype around it, I was like, well, I got to check this out. I remember listening to it back when it came out. I was like, this is actually really good for Metallica.
Yeah, man, it's good shit. I don't mind it. I like it better than Black Album, so I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but all right.
Yeah, well, obviously.
Well, have you guys heard Beyond Magnetic?
No.
No.
I
What
would
is
highly
that?
recommend it. It's
What is that?
It's 4 songs that didn't make the album,
Oh, nice.
and
Yeah.
I mean, you can see why they all didn't make the album of essentially, but they could have. I mean, it really comes down to what would you take off of Death Magnetic and replace with these. So the 30th anniversary concerts, they set up 4 concerts in San Francisco, had just a massive party, completely different set every night, shit ton of guest stars. Dave Mustaine showed up and played with them. It was
Nice.
a big
Oh,
wow. And each of the 4 shows, they debuted one of the songs off this, and then it was given to the fan club the next day, like in MP3 format. Eventually, it came out on vinyl and CD, and you can stream it or whatever. I'm not going to hijack somebody's turn here, but it's going to tie in with my number 4. And might as well just keep the conversation going.
Is your number 4 Death Magnet?
Yeah. But I'm also suggesting you throw in the Beyond Magnetic songs. Like, what a great album. And you guys have all said it, how it felt like a comeback. And as a fan who was following along, this is the first thing in 17 years that you were like, okay, they're still a good band. I will say, I can still defend them, because Saint Anger was rough, and you had Load and Reload before that. So,
I know what TD's hot take is. I see it coming. What's your number 4?
Just to say, I found Beyond Magnetic on Spotify. It exists there. I'm going to check it out as soon as this is over.
nice.
Yeah.
My turn. Is that what you said?
Yep.
My number. What are we on? 4. I have the Black Album here.
Nice.
It is. Yeah, it's a classic rock and roll, not just metal album. It's a classic hard rock and roll album. We just talked about how huge of an event it was back then. Back when, for the kiddies listening to this. So there used to be this thing called record stores, and people would actually camp out at them for them to open for special releases, and it was awesome. It was a great time. And yeah, for all the problems, I too
midnight releases.
So right. Like we used to do midnight movies and midnight video game releases.
Yeah.
I mean, we still do those things, except we do
so.
it from home.
Yeah, that's true.
Not the same, but
you wait for it to pop up on Spotify.
I can download Diablo 4 now.
Yeah. And you can play it 8 hours later.
When you patch
the West Coast, it's 9 p.m., so it doesn't even count. It's not even a midnight thing.
Oh God, I remember I went to one of those, for Red Dead Redemption 2, and then it took, even with like fiber internet, it still took all night to install the game. So it's like,
that was a great game though.
I still play it. But anyway, Metallica. I also could never listen to Enter Sandman again. Just it's overplayed. It's a fun, mainstream, single song, but it's just everybody and their mother. The only time I want to hear it is if I'm watching a football game that Virginia Tech is involved in, because they come out to it, and it's fine, and that's cool.
Or live.
Or live. Yes,
in the room, I'll listen to it.
Great live, yeah. Great live, great if you're watching a game and you see a football team run out to Enter Sandman. You're like, okay, that's cool. Or there was a baseball closer that used to come out to it too. I can't remember. Was that Billy Wagner? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, there's no harm in trying something new, which is exactly what Metallica did. They were entering a new era. It could have been a lot worse, I think, is what people don't realize with Bob Rock producing it. They could have turned in a hair metal album, and they didn't. There is probably an alternate timeline somewhere where they did, and Metallica recorded like "Pour Some Sugar on Me" instead, and it's a horrible, horrible timeline.
Hey, all right, wait, there's no need to bring Def Leppard. No need to bring Def Leppard into this. Poison will work. We can say Unskinny Bop. I think that's fair.
That'll work. Unskinny Bop.
Are you a Def Leppard fan?
No, but that song is decent. It's not a bad song.
Oh, so you're a strip club fan? Okay, got it.
No. I'm not a fan of Poison. I'm a fan. Oh, I'm sorry. We're all confused. It's the same goddamn thing. Let's be real. But the drummer from Def Leppard only has one arm, and that puts him above and beyond, as far as I'm concerned.
Hey, now I go get my Def Leppard vinyl now.
Hey,
You should.
I can grab a couple too.
look, and I had this argument with my wife and her dad, who's a blues guitarist to a degree, and I'm like, look, there's some merit to '80s hair metal, like there's some fun there, but all I'm saying is for the people that freaked out about the Black Album and how Metallica was dead to them and all that, it could have been worse, y'all. Like Bob Rock.
Shout out to the Rome guy. Yeah, it's like when you die and your soul goes on forever.
What are you talking about, Tim?
I don't know. He lost me
too. What are you talking about?
A year and a half of the life of Metallica. It was a 2-part movie thing. The first part was the making of the Black Album, and the second part was the tour. And they were like on release day for the Black Album. They're at Tower Records or whatever it was in LA. And there's this dude, and he's just like, he's trying to explain what he thinks Wherever I May Roam is about. And he's like, when you die, you go somewhere. It's like a journey. The Rome guy. Shout out. Yeah,
Mike Rome.
No, nobody knows who he is.
Okay, all right.
Dude,
we got to find him and get him on the
about
show.
Wherever I May
we
Roam.
do.
So he's called the Rome guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
My last thought on this, and
Memes.
is it in a bit of like symmetry with my other appearance on this show for the what did they call it? The Blacklist, the Metallica that tribute album that came out a couple years ago. Jason Isbell does a version of Sad But True and turns it into like a kind of juke joint swingy blues song. It's worth just a listen for curiosity. That whole album, really. I mean, I think Weezer also did a version of Enter Sandman. Yeah. And it's like, it's a really weird, like, just collection of bands and artists that appeared on this Metallica thing. But yeah, just a bit of synergy. Like I didn't know that until like maybe just a couple nights ago, doing my homework for this and came across that. It's like, what is this? I'm like, oh, it's a tribute album, and scrolling through the artists and seeing Jason Isbell, I'm like, well, okay, this is weird. But,
Wait. All right, so who does Nothing Else Matters? Because one Jason Isbell and Weezer would both do that song better, I think.
So it's a little weird because there's like multiple versions of a lot of the same songs. So there's like 10 versions of Nothing Else Matters, but among the highlights are Miley Cyrus.
Highlights.
Let's see, yeah. And there's another. My Morning Jacket does a version. Darius Rucker does a version,
dude.
And Chris Stapleton does a version for
My Morning Jacket. Probably shreds that shit. Actually.
I have not listened to all of it yet, but I need to go back.
Fun fact about the Miley Cyrus version: it also features Elton John and Robert Trujillo.
What the fuck?
And Chad Smith from Red Hot Chili Peppers,
of course.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus!
I'm gonna go listen to that after this. Now,
I'm glad Will Ferrell still plays drums.
Yeah. But yeah, so Black Album, still a great album, still a genre changing. It changed music, kind of, like, and sometimes that's not good for, there's probably a lot of horrible bands that, were created.
Hey, what if Alice in Chains played Sad But True? I think it would sound a lot like, I don't know, Godsmack, Stained.
Well, I would say as far as things that are like, that make it mainstream, that you don't expect to make mainstream, this is still better than Vanilla Ice,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's much worse in the world.
And it really introduced it like hard rock metal to the mainstream and made it acceptable. And that's something you have to give credit for in itself.
I remember being in 4th grade when this dropped and listening to it in the car with my mom driving, and she was like, "This is kind of like Black Sabbath. I like it." And I was like, "Mom, you're the coolest." And that was the end of that.
This is like Metal's version of Green Day's Dookie or Nirvana's Nevermind. It's like the gateway into a genre that wasn't popular in the mainstream.
For sure.
That's perfect. Actually, the perfect.
Very well said. For sure. That's beautiful.
That's my segue to my number 4, which is the Black Album.
Hey!
And my notes literally say, if I never heard Enter Sandman again, I'd be okay.
Yeah.
Way overplayed back in the day.
Back
Love
in the
Sad
day,
But
I think I've
True.
heard it 5 times this week.
Like
not
literally,
by choice.
my
It's
I will
only
daughter.
listen to anything
Tuesday.
that plays Metallica on a normal day. So, the drum beats are fun in that one. Holier Than Thou is fine. Unforgiven is fucking fantastic. Still holds up. Same with Wherever I May Roam. Don't Tread on Me is just eh. Through the Never is one of my favorites from this one. It's pulsing. It almost sounds like old Metallica or older Metallica, I guess
Yeah.
now. Fantastic solo. Nothing Else Matters is fine. Still kind of feel like I heard that one a little too much back in the day, but then it kind of gets a little slower. Metallica does have some damn good closers. Struggle Within is one of them, but not as good as the next few albums.
It's fair.
So,
It's fair.
I mean, my friend played the shit out of this cassette back in the day.
I remember in fourth grade, me and some friends, there was a talent show in fourth grade, and we were like, you know what? Let's pretend we're a band and like lip sync or mime to a song. And it was between Inner Sandman and Ugly Kid Joe's Everything About You. And unfortunately, Everything About You by Every Kid Joe won out. So there's video somewhere of me pretending to play guitar to Everything About You.
If you are watching this and you have that video, send it to odt@gmail.com.
Look, man, I'm sure my mom has it, but there's no way I could find a way to commit that to digital. It's just not going to happen. I might have the only copy, and it's staying there on VHS. It's not going anywhere.
Hey, man, America's Least Wanted kicked ass back in the day.
Dude, I'm not hating on Ugly Kid Joe. Good band. Really good band. Not even hating. Good shit.
All right, TD, what is your number 3?
Number 3, Ride the Lightning. This and researching this, yeah, I heard the size.
No, there was no sigh. It was a great.
There's no sigh. I'm just looking to see what the.
We're in the top 4.
Yeah,
in the top 3, man. You're good.
Yeah, his hot take is still coming. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Well, what's a hotter take? This at number 3 or that at higher?
And doing the research, it is interesting to like read the background on it and how Cliff Burton basically like introduced them to music theory when they were doing this album. Yeah. And it was like, hey guys, so I have this wild thing for you. But it's a great, just fucking great metal album. It's got maybe my favorite. Actually, it does have it on there. We'll get to that in the song part, but that kind of middle, like from, I don't know, it's so hard to pick like a perfect stretch of this because they're all, it's a complete album, and it's, one of the few, it's under an hour, right? Yeah. But
it's like under 50 minutes even.
Yeah, it's like 48, I think.
Yeah, about there. So it's quick, quick hitting, speed, thrashed, awesome, just fucking yeah. And a great title. A great album title.
Yeah, man. Good album artwork too. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
All right. This is my hot take here.
Uh-oh.
Master of Puppets.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if that's a hot take, man. I don't know.
Well, what hasn't he picked?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you do the math.
Battery's good. Master Puppets is epic. Welcome Home takes a little too long to get going.
Okay. That's not too hot of a take.
Disposable Heroes is fantastic. Great intro. Super interesting drum beat. Ripping guitar solo. Really good anti-war lyrics. Damage Inc. is really freaking good. Overall, though, I liked the other two more. This is when I started out and I was trying to keep my notes short.
That was beautiful. There's really not a lot to say about the big two, I would say.
Yeah.
Because they're just classics.
Yeah.
From start to beginning. There's not bad. They're great.
All right, Tim. You got to throw a hot take in there now?
Well, I mean, have you guys remember the 598 EP?
What?
I know of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Garage, isn't it?
If you don't know it, it's on the Garage Inc.
Oh, okay. So Garage Inc. is your number 3.
Garage Inc. is my number
I was
3.
wondering it was coming in.
I forgot he didn't pick that one. Whoa.
Yeah, man.
So as I said at the beginning of the video, the first 5 songs on disc 2 of this were my introduction to Metallica. Still probably my favorite singular release by them, the 598 EP. It's 30 minutes, 6 songs actually, and just amazing. The rest of disc 2 here is the rest of the B-sides that they did off of like Justice, Black Album, and the Motorhead stuff is from Load, but it's Motorhead, so it's like it doesn't matter that these aren't Metallica songs. These are great. Disc 1 is the new recordings, which technically this will be the last studio recordings with Jason Newsted, and I Disappear. Dude, their version of Sabracadabra, their Merciful Fate tribute medley, whatever you want to call it, the Blue Oyster Cult, Astronomy. God, there's so much good stuff on here. And yeah, nine times out of 10, you're not going to know this isn't a Metallica song. You have no idea what the original artist is. Just sit back and enjoy them ripping some songs in a garage or, you know, in their studio. There's no real production value to it. It's just set up the mics and jam. And, you know, some of the most inspired playing on here because they're not taking it too seriously. They're having fun, and it translates really, really well. If you're not familiar with this, if you like Metallica at all, just start introducing these into your shuffle, and every time the one will pop up, you'll be like, is that really Metallica covering Nick Cave? That's awesome. You know, so yeah, it's great album. And out of all of these, if I had to pick one that's going with me, you know, to a desert island or whatever, I'm probably picking this one. Not only because it's a double album full of, you know, what, we got 30
songs by everybody other than Metallica. That's part of the problem.
And they're Queen, you got the Misfits, you got Black Sabbath, you got Motorhead, you got Killing Joke, you got
great jams. You do.
Yeah, a lot of great jams on here. And as I said before, between 1995 and 2007, it was really, really dark. And this is all I had to hold on to. And I held on for dear life. And
I'm just glad the truth has come out as to why it's so highly rated. Because, I mean, it's not a Metallica record at all.
But it's great. It's so good. It's so good.
It is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating.
And it has, if you were a special, you know, age teenager, there's a special, you know, kick you get out pissing off your parents and playing them their version of Turn the Page. Especially if you got classic rock parents, it really fucks them up, and it's hilarious.
And I had the fun of having the Sad But True single with So What as the B-side.
Nice.
And you want to really piss your parents off or scare small children.
I'll tell you, moms get upset about Bob Seger now. Mine was pretty upset when I was talking about Sage Francis covering it. She was like, "That's an artist just can't do anything original anymore. They just cover music."
Well, I mean, you know, if you've ever been in a band, you know, sometimes you just gotta play a song and you don't have to think about it, and you just want to rock and you just want to have fun.
I'm never gonna hate on Bob Seger.
No, Bob Seger's the shit.
I'm gonna hate on everyone else that loves Bob Seger more than I hate on Bob Seger. We're
gonna do Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band eventually.
I'm down, dude. Let's do it. I'm into it.
I'm gonna take them old records off the shelf.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna smoke a cigar just to record that particular whatever it is.
I'm gonna turn the page and go to a commercial break, right?
Rad.
Cool.
There you go.
Dude, anger works better rhythmically. Check it out.
With the new AOL 9.0 optimized talk feature, instant messages really sing.
Yeah!
Life needs vocals.
All right, Will, what is your number 3?
Oh, it's Master of Puppets. I'm with you, Jason. That's my
Oh,
number 3,
okay.
man. Yeah. It's a flawless, infinite well of fury and awesome, and it's just good from start to finish. Like the top 3, I have nothing negative to say about the top 3 records I'm going to name. They're all wonderful. This one's just not as good as the others, and the depth factor. It's very one note. It's very just to the point. We're going to kick your head off. We're going to grab your spinal column and then swing it like, the Predator or something. It's just a straight up ass kicking, this record. It's a beautiful record. I love it very much. That's all I have to say about it. It's number 3 because it's too good to be anything less than number 3. That was some shitty talk right there. You're welcome.
But I mean, it made sense to me. Like, that's
No,
what I had for it.
You ended it strong.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and go because I want to say Injustice for All. How you guys have it that low?
That's fine.
The
No.
production value. Where's my notes at? I lost them when I went to get a beer. All right. This is the Metallica I remember back in elementary school. Like I said, my friend just played the shit out of this cassette. So many good ones. Blackened doesn't fuck around opening the album up. Title song is great. Some weird time signature shit going on in that long intro. The lyrics are great. Rolls of red tape, seal your lips, now you're done. And their money tips her scales again. One is the song.
I wore it on Wednesdays.
One is the song I think of when someone says Metallica. MTV played the hell of a music video back in the day, at least in the hours I was watching it. A masterpiece. I love the sludgy pace of Harvester of Sorrow. But I think that Frayed Ends kind of sounds a little samey to that one. But the solo's badass. The closer, Dyer's Eve, is thrashy as fuck. And the topic of the song is really good. So, like, I've always had a soft spot for this album.
Dyer's Eve is one of the closers that kills. It's so good. Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And actually, I had, back in 8th grade, I had a Metallica Master of Puppets shirt. Just had the album cover on it. And I had a Metallica Injustice for All shirt that had the cover on that. And I wasn't even that big of a Metallica fan. I don't know where I got the shirts from. Like, I guess my grandmother used to take me to the mall in Cordova and Pensacola, and there was this little store that sold like bootleg CDs and T-shirts. And I got a shirt about. I got a story about Aerosmith's Get a Grip T-shirt because I actually wanted that one. I was like, because I loved Aerosmith back then, and like she bought it and then got all upset because the nipple of the cow was pierced.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
But anyway,
so out of control with a nipple piercing on a cow. What the hell were they thinking?
By the time I got to high school, it was like all Nirvana. I was the Nirvana everyday shirt guy.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, that's my number 2. I don't know if I went in the right order or not, but who wants to go?
No, because this means on your number 1, Tim's going to start out, which I think is perfect. So this is great. But you're next, Tim. What you got for number 2?
Well, I mean, you could flip them both back and forth, right?
Good.
You guys have heard Lulu, right?
No, we have not heard Lulu.
I think we should do a one-shot on Lulu.
We should.
It's that weird.
Have you guys actually heard it?
I've heard like half of it.
Yeah, and I don't remember it.
Well,
I don't hate it.
We got a month till this video comes out, so we'll do a one-shot on Lulu.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
So, yeah.
I don't like it.
One of the worst albums of all time. And my number 2 is going to be arguably the greatest thrash metal album of all time.
Master of Puppets. Yeah, it's true. That's right. It is the best. It's really good. I just like others better. That's all. It's so good, though.
Well, I mean, I love this album. There's nothing wrong with it. But we talked about the formula that... So in a lot of ways, this just takes the previous album and does it again. It obviously changes a little bit, This is technically their major label debut because Ride Lightning did come out on a Megaforce at first. So yeah, there's some money behind this album. They got the Aussie tour. I mean, Jesus Christ, Battery is incredible. The title track, luckily, I found this album through Stranger Things. So I know that song's good.
Hey,
To be fair,
I got through it. I found it through Fortnite. So there's a
To be
group
fair.
emote that has you start playing Master of Puppets and other people can join in. There's a drummer. It's really fun.
dude, that to be fair, that Stranger Things homage was beautiful, and I loved
I
every
still
second
actually
of
haven't
it.
seen it yet.
And I loved how Metallica came
it's
out
really
and said,
good.
don't gatekeep. Basically, if you found
Yeah.
it through
Yeah.
Stranger Things, you're welcome to the family.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
As
They were
TD's
never
about to show us, it doesn't matter where you got in on the train, as long as you get on the train,
Tim's noticed it.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
he
doesn't
caught
matter
it. Yeah.
where you got on. Like I have talked to people, they would put Saint Anger number 1. Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
I have a dog, and
I've met
That sounds
person.
like a damn.
I've met the
beast.
person where that was their gateway, and so that just holds a special place in their heart.
And that's kind of, and just Thrall, that's where, you know.
Yeah, like you gotta own Sabbath's Paranoid. You gotta own Judas Priest's British Steel. You gotta own Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. And you gotta own Master of Puppets by Metallica. And if you have those 4 albums, you have everything you really need in metal. Everything beyond that is just... He gets it.
Well,
Yeah.
there's no way that little dog made that noise. That was like a Cerebus.
this dog is a half
Strong
German.
opinions about Saint Anger, apparently.
Yeah, no. Honestly, she was just thinking, "Wow, what the fuck? Why would anybody not put Saint Anger at number of the end? I don't know. No, she's a sweet girl.
Edwood.
Edwood. She's a golden
Edwood?
retriever. So she's half German Shepherd, half golden retriever. She's wonderful. She's just loud, and I apologize at a time. I just wanted to shame her for the
No, it's
5
fine.
people that will
It's
watch
fine.
this.
I'm still
She's
pretty
a pretty
sure
puppy.
I'm pretty sure my baby made a whole appearance on the
I'm a sweet baba.
first half of this.
Yeah, we're not professional. We're just a bunch of old fucks talking about Metallica. So there's going to be kids and dogs and cats
And the things that should not be's.
You guys ever listen to Metallica? Yes.
Yep.
Metallica is an amazing thing. They
Yep.
take the Beatles and Metallica and mash them together in a way that is just wonderful.
Wow.
The thing that would not let it be is what made me think of that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Leper Madonna, classic. It's really good.
All right, Will, what's your number 2?
Well, it's kind of telling as to what my number 1 is. Obviously,
The beauty
it's
of
going
this
to be
format.
different from everyone else's. No, it is Ride the Lightning. That is my number 2.
What?
Yes, my number 1 is a stunner, and I don't care. I will argue the death for it. It's amazing. But
That's the hot take.
Forget
That is
every
the
hot
hot
take
take
you've
for sure.
heard so far.
that is some bullshit, and I agree, but I'm okay with it. This only goes above. This was a toss-up, honestly. This only goes above because Fade to Black is one of the greatest songs ever written in the history of music. So it will go above Master of Puppets. I feel like I'm trolling with my number 1 in a way, but really, honestly, I believe it's better than these 2 records, and we'll get to that. But this record's better than Master of Puppets because it has a breadth of emotion, a breadth of stylistics. It is non-fucking stop. And it's also the last track. I believe Cult of Cthulhu is the last Dave Mustaine take.
It's also Hangar 18.
And it is also Hangar 18 without vocals. But I would also put Hangar 18 above Call of Cthulhu. So that's a different story altogether. But it's At this point, it doesn't really matter other than what my number one is, which is better than your number one. So it doesn't really matter. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. They're all great records. And I just prefer this one over the other. I mean,
I need to get my sign out. I need to make some new signs. We got to
Yeah.
do both.
No, there is no wrong answer on this one because, at a certain point, they all just, everybody recognizes the first 4 or 5, depending on where you want to, how hard ass you want to be about it.
yeah.
And then after that, it's just, fit in what you like.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. TT, what you got?
Ooh, now, yeah, this is where I either piss off people or something. But no, even I can't do it. Reload here.
Oh, you should have done it. You should have went. You should have went there.
You know what?
I wouldn't feel as bad about my number one if you switched it up. But
now I want to put Saint Anger number one.
Originally, going into it, thinking the whole time, I thought Reload would be my number one. But after listening to them both, I can't deny. But we'll get to that. Reload was my introduction to Metallica. That's what Mr. Tom played in the truck. Like the first notes of Fuel, just hearing that kick out, and like it was a whole new type of music for me. Like I had said before, I was a country kid, like 80s, 90s country. So, Alabama, Garth Brooks, George Strait, shit like that. And then when we moved to Baltimore from Alabama and moving into a new neighborhood, all the kids there were like, fuck country, you got to listen to this shit. And the first thing I heard that wasn't country was like NWA and, Snoop and, then getting into like Notorious B.I.G. So I had 2 completely different ends of the musical spectrum. And then, my mom was a classic rock mom. So I heard a lot of that. I got in a little bit to like, I actually think Zeppelin was probably after this. So Metallica really was my introduction to rock and roll. Just pure, obviously I knew the stuff that my mom listened to. And, as I've grown older, I appreciate stuff more like the Allmans and Elton John, the stuff she listened to. But as, 12, 13-year-old kid, what is this shit, mom? It sucks. Like, I don't want to listen to it. But Metallica just, especially when you're going to play hockey, it pumps you up. It's great.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me fire.
Exactly. It's the drums, it just blew my mind as this little kid. Like, never heard anything as heavy before.
White knuckle tight.
Yeah, white. It just fuck 'em, man. Memory Remains is just a great song. Our hockey, The Unforgiven 2, I agree with. I think everyone here that it's the best of the trilogy.
Yeah,
I would disagree. I think 3 is the best. I think 2 is the worst. Actually,
I'm going back and forth on that. I still think number 1 is the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'd have to listen to 3 again and really confirm. But yeah, Unforgiven 2 was great. Like a lot of personal memories with these songs, and that's why it means so much to me. And our hockey team was called the Vipers, and so Slither, a song that opens with "Don't go looking for snakes, you might find them," is the perfect song to play as we like go on to the rink. It's like perfect. And this is the Metallica album I always come back to. If ever I'm in the mood, when I get back in the mood for heavier stuff that I don't listen to with my wife or my family,
make them listen to it.
Yeah. And the heaviest they get is like Zeppelin, and
well, be like, hey kids, have you heard Master
exactly,
of
yeah,
Puppets?
exactly. And my son will be introduced to the heavy stuff. But yeah, so this was my introduction to it. I love it. And yeah, there are weak songs on it. There's some real shit on here. There's some cool stuff on here though, and so this is a completely personal.
How are you with Low Man's Lyric?
It's cool. It's like weird, It's like,
it's a better country song than anything that was on Load.
Yeah, there you go. And it's a mark of a band that they can kind of cross genres and how good they are.
It's not bad.
I don't know. I think Poor Twisted Me actually works as a good country song.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's just some weird stuff on there that, like, Where the Wild Things Are. It's like,
it's good jam, dude. It's a good song.
Yeah. And like, so yeah. And like we said, it could be, at this time, what this is 97. It's probably better than 90% of the other shit that's coming out then.
Yeah.
Maybe
sadly it was.
I would say it's better than 75%.
It's still, and that's still a good number though, right?
Yeah, it's still in the positive.
It's still up in the positive for sure.
Yeah.
And like you said, we don't gatekeep when we shouldn't. So like, yeah. So I fucking love Reload. Like I'll defend it. I'll fight people about it. And I'll whoop somebody's ass while Fuel is playing in the background. Let's go.
Yeah, dude. No. I think TD, I think that's a perfectly admirable number 2, honestly. It's as far as like modern Metallica, it is definitely up there. I probably should have put it above a couple of the other records that I mentioned, honestly. It's not bad.
Well, and like we mentioned with the Black Album, it's a perfect for someone who, like me, I was, like I said, the example of it, like never had to listen to heavy stuff before. And then, so this was a good way to like soothe me into it. Like, oh,
Dude,
okay. Like,
it's better than any Chris Gaines record. And apparently we got more of those on the way. So that should be interesting.
Don't remind me. Garth needs something to do.
Where are the bodies, Garth? Where are the bodies?
Where's the movie that it was supposed to happen with? I want to see the Chris Gaines movie.
It's happening. You know what's happening. It's happening. It's going to happen.
So they're making Bad Santa 3?
That is dark and deep. I'm going to give Garth a little bit more credit than that. But yes, probably.
All right. Who starts number 1 since you kept up with it?
I think technically Tim. Tim is the one that starts. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you guys read that?
Yeah, I can. It says Ride the Lightning, the number 1 thrash metal album of all time.
Remastered for the first time.
Yeah.
So fun fact, this was the last vinyl I bought. This is the only remastered one I have.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was the last one I bought just because at that point I was like, well, now I need to just get it to complete the collection. I am still very much in the market for an original. Specifically, if you can get the Megaforce, oh my god, hit me up down in the comments below if you got an original. I'll take an Electra as well. Man,
spare no expense.
So Metallica is a nostalgic band, and I was already pretty familiar with them by the time I heard Ride the Lightning. But I'll never forget the first time I heard Ride the Lightning. It was Christmas Eve. Probably 19. It was either 91 or 92, because that's when I was getting these things, and didn't sleep that night. I literally listened to this on repeat all night long and into the next day.
It's so special. It really is.
It is. That's great.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be the odd one out here, so I mean I understand.
And I mean if we're going to be, if we're getting real about it, this you could look at this as the first one that Cliff and Kirk actually contributed to. Yeah, they're both on Kill 'Em All, but they really had very little to do with the writing. This is the one where Cliff taught him about music theory, and Kirk had just come off his guitar lessons with Joe Satriani, and so he knew a thing or two as well.
He knew about surfing with the Raelian. He just didn't know about surfing on the Lightning.
And really, you can hear it as soon as James picks up on that. You get Fade to Black.
Yeah, dude.
You get
you
get Fight Fire with Fire, Trapped Under Ice. The Call of Cthulhu is Hangar 18, but originally it's When Hell Freezes Over. I know James doesn't like Escape. I know he thinks that was written for like the to get radio attention or whatever. But the bridge part's actually one of the heaviest things I think they've ever done.
Dude, I agree with you.
It's so good.
I hate everything about that song except the bridge. The bridge is dope.
And really, it's 1984. I'm not going to fault him for it.
Yeah,
like for 1984, it's perfect. It's better than Rat. It's better than anything on Theater of Pain. It's better than better than so much stuff out there.
Pyromania.
Yeah, I mean,
it would fit on Pyromania, but I don't know if it's as good as Foolin', because that song's awesome.
It's a good record.
Everything else on here is just stone cold classic. Like, you put For Whom the Bell Tolls on for anybody under the age of 15. in any year you want. 2027, 1997.
No.
It doesn't matter. You put For Whom the Bell Tolls on their fault.
2057.
Yeah.
Yes. 2057. Yes. It's still rocking.
It got a great second life when it was in the opening to that zombie movie, Zombieland.
Yep.
Very cool opening. Yeah, and it got like a second life with a younger audience.
I didn't know like, and you know, including 72 seasons, including Saint Anger. I guess I did mention it a third time. Including Injustice for All, and including Master of Puppets. I think this is the best title track. Dude, the track Ride the Lightning, you put that on right now and I will destroy whatever room I'm in. I'm just going nuts. It's so good. It doesn't matter that I've heard it 4 billion times. I can hear it again.
Tim, Saint Anger Around My Neck.
I feel the world quake. You know, is it
Black
me?
Album.
Is it real?
Black Album doesn't have a self-titled, so I don't know what we can say.
The Black Album doesn't have a self-titled. Technically, King Nothing is the self-titled from Load and Reload because Load is its working title.
Okay.
Death Magnetic is also mentioned in My Apocalypse.
Which is why I'm going to rank it above as far as title tracks go. But
it's not
the title track of Will's pick is really good.
Yeah, it is. And I guess that's my turn to talk about why my number one is Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Dude, that record. All right. I've never heard it.
It's real good.
Never heard it until today. I understand why I would rank it lower than it is, but this takes everything good about everything they've done before and finesses it, polishes it, turns it sideways, and shoves it up your candy ass. It's fucking amazing. It is such a good record. Halo on Fire, that song in itself, like, I know it's got some butt rock things going on it, but if I were to ever vote on the number one butt rock song, the butt rock epic of all time, it would be Halo on Fire. It is nonstop from beginning to end, a homage to in modern music to Fade to Black and One. It is their composition.
And that second half works so great live. I don't
know. It is so good. Dude, Spit Out the Bone is one of the, like, honestly, it's not even in my top 5 songs, but as a closer for a record, that song shreds, brings a fucking old school solo into the game, and then also closes out with a shred. It is an amazing jam. It's so good. I mean, there's like even the slower songs like Confusion.
I like that one.
Confusion's so good. I know it sounds bloated, but like even the songs that like didn't catch my ear were more memorable than anything on Death Magnetic, at least. Definitely better than anything on Kill 'Em All. Suck it. Anything better than 72 Seasons. Anything better than anything that we can all agree on isn't that good. It's definitely better than Load for sure. The only reason I put it above Masters and Ride the Lightning is because every song to me is locked in my brain. Like every song just stuck. There's nothing on here I would give off. Like even what is it, Man Unkind or whatever? Like even that's got something going for it. There's something interesting. There's an odd time signature. There's like some cool shit going on. Even the longer songs that seem middling at first, if you let them play through, they grab you, man. They just like literally rock you. There's like so many good compositions on this album. Like it might be a hot take, but I like it better right now. That probably will change in a month, 2 months, 3 months. I don't know. But for right now, that is the tops. There's nothing better than that record.
I love it, and I fully endorse your decision. It is a great album. It's got a couple clunkers. It scored a little lower for me, but it is a great album.
Mhm.
It just shreds,
And
dude.
who else was doing that in 2016?
I mean, a lot of bands probably, but it's okay because Metallica does it better, so it's fine.
Exactly.
All right, TD, what's your number one?
No, obviously missing is Master of Puppets.
Yes.
It's an invincible album. That's my notes. It's an invincible album. Like it's bulletproof. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
It's in the
There's
Library of Congress.
Yeah, it's and so to continue with my reload story, my friend's dad, that's how we got into Metallica. But then once we got into that and wanted to know more, he said, "Okay, now this is real Metallica." And that was he's like, "You guys want to listen to metal? Okay, like here you go, you little candy asses. Like this is metal." And so Master of Puppets stuck with me, and again, like opened my like world to it was like a version of doing shrooms at 13 years old. That
Yeah.
it's just God, it's so amazing. It's an amazing fucking record. And it was my most anticipated re-listen to and in preparation for this. So I saved it for closer to time. Like just the other night listening to it. From I don't know how many times I can say it's invincible. It's perfect. It's just from Battery on. Battery as an opener is insane. Master of Puppets as a title cut is just amazing. As my friend, growing up, one of our hockey playing friends, he used to say the amazing thing about early Metallica was like you hear 3 songs within one each song. With all the changes, the tempos, like you hear a thrash and it slows down, and then Master of Puppets is perfect. Like the first reference to cocaine I remember as a kid, just like chop your
My mom
breakfast
was
on
an
a
Eric
mirror.
Clapton fan, so
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Same.
First creative reference to, instead of so on the nose.
No, let's be real. The first good reference.
There you go.
Be real.
And let's also be real with
Fuck you, Eric Clapton. You
as
suck.
I say, it's a JJ Cale song. It's not a Clapton song, first of all.
Yeah,
Like, remember
yeah.
that. And two, yes, also Eric Clapton's a piece of shit. So but yeah, Master of Puppets is amazing. The title track is even one like I know we don't talk about S&M here, but like it was my favorite S&M song. Like I think it was the one that perfectly worked with the orchestra. It's just there we go.
Honestly, we should do like a one shot where we go back and do the records we didn't cover because they're decent.
And Metallica is they're one of the icons of rock, and I don't want to step on any like closing thoughts we'll have, but yeah, they're an icon, iconic band, and this is their masterpiece. Not to play on words too much, but this is their their Mona Lisa, their Sistine Chapel. This is it.
Yeah.
Jason.
All right, well, so I went into this thinking Justice for All and Black Album are going to be my number 1 and 2.
Dude, that's impressive.
Because I don't listen to Metallica. Like, that's just the Metallica I know, so that's what I thought was going to be
you
it.
thought you heard the best.
Then I heard Ride the Lightning, and holy shit. That intro, like it started out it sounds like Led Zeppelin, and then it just fucking kicks in, and it doesn't stop. I do want to give a shout out though to the album name and Stephen King being named after a Stephen King quote from The Stand. So Stephen King, where's our retweet? For Whom the Bell Tolls.
We should rank Stephen King books.
I got every single one of them back in there in the hardcover.
I got most of them.
Yeah, we'll get Joe back for that. For Whom the Bell Tolls and Fade to Black are just top tier classic. They do some insane shit on For Whom the Bell Tolls that like everything about this album, James singing, the production, the songwriting is just miles and miles. Because I listened to these in order, and it was like, what were we talking about? Whole, like the difference between Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning.
Yeah,
in songwriting and progression was just insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Escape was really good. The Call of Cthulhu is twice as long as um, Anesthesia, but it didn't feel like it. Like the whole fucking thing for a instrumental was just amazing. And the album didn't sound like a 1984 album. Like it's
No, it does
timeless.
not. It is amazing.
Like Kill 'Em All, it was like, yeah, this was recorded in the 80s, but not this one. Like this one and Master of Puppets are just
Yeah.
fucking phenomenal.
They literally could have come out yesterday and it would have been just amazing nonetheless. Like nonstop. Amazing.
Yeah. That was like I'm with you. If two people below find an original pressing of this record, let us know.
Like, all right, since like I will also, since we're quoting out Stephen King, I figure we might as well call out Sheamus from WWE, because when I was listening to this record, literally every track, and I even put this is in our like group chat, so if we need like photographic evidence or whatever, it's for real. Banger after banger after banger after banger after banger. It's just so good. It's a great record.
It is a bro kick to the face.
Yes, it is.
It is. Yeah.
If there were 10 tracks on this record, which is even more impressive, like
Be the 10 beats of the Bowery Man.
yes, indeed, sir.
So, final thoughts. I would go number 7 to 1 is like the Metallica that I would. Well, I guess a Garage too, because it's a cover one, but
Yeah.
that would be like my top Metallica.
Yeah, there's only like maybe 3 or 4 that I would say I would never listen to again. But the rest of them are always going to be available to listen to for sure.
This is the second time we've done an artist on this show that I won't say a fan of, because I knew Metallica, but I didn't know Metallica. Jason Isbell was the first. This was the second.
And I didn't catch that.
You didn't? Oh, I'm waiting for the hate comments to come in, but the video's doing really well. No one's like called me out yet.
I feel like you enjoyed this one more though.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed. I mean, Jason Isbell was shorter. I'll give it that.
Sure. Okay.
But I did like 7 of these albums, whereas Jason Isbell was like 1 or 2 songs. I do like Jason Isbell as a person though. Like because I started following him on Twitter. Like he's pretty good.
Oh yeah, he takes no shit.
Yeah.
Should look up some of his videos where he'll like personally kick people out of his shows for being assholes. Like threaten to come off stage and whoop their ass. And I'm like, that's a North Alabama boy. He'll do it. Like,
no question.
That's what he did to help.
I think you were pretty good for I mentioned in the Isbo one where my wife would leave me for him, and she only said, "Who is this fucker again?" like 2 or 3 times when we watched it the other night. So that's good. You didn't piss her off too much, but yeah.
Yeah, the art one's good. It comes out tomorrow. That's a good one.
Okay, what? But tomorrow is like in October, right?
Yeah, these videos are already out.
We're from the future. Or I guess we're from the past.
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything else to say about Metallica?
I just wanted to add, in my listening to this, I forgot just how my homework re-listening, it made me appreciate once again just how good of a band Metallica is. They are gods of rock and roll. They deserve to be in every discussion of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time, specifically American. They went through multiple career shifts. They went through tragedy, losing Cliff Burton. Hell, even before getting their original lineup with, Dave Mustaine and kicking that out and, like trying to figure out who they were, doing the Black Album, which, alienated so many of their hardcore fans, but introduced them to 10 times as more. It changed. Metallica literally changed music, and that's something you can only say about a handful of bands ever. And they absolutely made a lasting impression on rock and roll, and were one of the godfathers of heavy metal and speed and thrash. And they're fucking amazing. And that was the best part of going back through this and listening to the albums as a whole and not just a song here and there, was being like, oh, right, these guys have been around for 40 some years for a reason. And they're amazing and they deserve all the praise. And, for every load era or Napster misstep they have, I think they deserve. They've got enough slack where people should just back the fuck off. Metallica fucking rocks.
Hashtag leave Lars alone.
That said, fuck Lars. He seems like a cool guy. I just don't like his drumming. I do
a lot of the times.
Yeah, there's some great drumming on some.
Look, when he makes it work, he makes it work. But also, like the last half of the Black Album is the same goddamn drum beat over and over again. So fuck Lars.
No, I get it.
But he's smart enough to think Robert Trujillo is the best bass player they've ever had, and he's right. So.
When he's banging on the actual kit, it's pretty good. It's just when he hits some trash cans, it gets.
I'm just talking shit to ruin everything wonderful and true 2D said just a second ago. Because he's right. Listen to TD, not me. For real.
It was an interesting listen from Kill 'Em all the way to 72 Seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could take that discography of like Dinosaur Jr., which is probably just as many records, and there's not much variety there.
But no.
Metallica is like, yeah, it was an
and that's one thing I've always appreciated about them, because like I'm a fan of Slayer, but really after like 4 or 5 of them, they're all the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's same with AC/DC. You give me like 4 or 5 of them, and the rest are all just the same.
Let's not bring AC/DC into this because they do not count.
Let's say they get immunity from that.
They're a good example of somebody who just puts out the same album every time.
Yeah, and Metallica does not do that.
Metallica is not true for sure.
Yeah.
No, that's an interesting exercise though. Listening. So, do you do that for everyone, Jason? You listen in chronological?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I did not. I just kind of bounced around to like, what do I want to try tonight? Like, when am I in this mood? Like.
I actually went. The first night was the first 2. The second night was Master and Justice, and then it was Black Album to Garage, or no, Saint Anger. Mm-hmm. That was like a long night. I was pretty drunk that night.
You definitely were.
We got the screenshots to prove it.
So, I don't know if it was the headache from the drumming or too much alcohol, but Saint Anger was just killing me that night.
Yeah.
Hey man, your lifestyle determines your death style.
My lifestyle determines my death style. My lifestyle is, dude. Honestly, it's a shitty lyric. It's a wonderful song though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even care.
Yeah.
I mean, you could flip that backwards too, and it'd still be true. And that's the sad thing.
All right. Well. This was our album rankings of Metallica. Leave us a comment below with your rankings. And tell Eric Clapton about ODD. I'm sure he would love to sit back and watch Will say, fuck you, Eric Clapton.
No. Look. I'll be honest. Eric Clapton's Fender Stratocaster signature model, beautiful guitar.
Pete Townsend plays one.
It's a beautiful guitar. It's a great Stratocaster. I hate Strats, but it's a great Strat. See there,
Eric. We'll like something about you. So give us a like below.
Dude, that cream thing was pretty good.
Dun. I will say, Living Color's cover of Land of Sunshine is better. Or
Sunshine of Your Love.
Sunshine of Your Love. Yeah. Sorry, I'm confusing it with a better song.
Land of Sunshine.
We're gonna do top songs and art tonight.
Here's out of order.
Wait till Faith No More's discography happens.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Gonna be a lot of smoke blowing up a lot of asses. It's gonna be great.
Next week's No Use for a Name, so I'll be back in my wheelhouse. We appreciate you.
I gotta start deep diving.
Be safe and make good decisions.
And metal up your ass.
Metallica fucking rocks.
For sure.